focused on treating America as one big couch they can all screw together. It's Wiles headlined the event, federal equal time rule to declare that anti-Trump material broadcast by Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and others was somehow illegal. I think that it would be so un-American if he were to come after people who are speaking out against him.
In fact, it says that on election night, Melania was in tears and not of joy. First ladies, they're just like us.
Ever felt like your jokes could change the world? Well, Kimmel and Colbert might be living that dream right now. Their Trump impressions have sparked a political firestorm, and we're all feeling the heat.
I'm an optimistic person. I'm not hysterical. I laugh when people say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. From belly laughs to jaw-dropping revelations, this story's got it all. So if you've ever dreamed of taking on the big guys with nothing but your wit, this one's for you. Looks like Trump's Twitter feed is hotter than a microwave burrito these days, folks. Our favorite late-night jokesters, Kimmel and Colbert, have set up camp in the Donald's noggin, and he's not happy about it. Who knew comedy could pack such a punch? These guys have turned poking fun at the president into an art form.
I think he may have finally learned his lesson with this one because his spokesperson said Woodward is a total sleazebag who has lost it mentally.
Kimmel's been strutting around with a Trump wig that keeps falling off, making the Donald look sillier than a cat in a party hat. And Colbert? He's got this theory about Trump's rally speeches being a nonsensical weave of gibberish.
But I always do it. I ace it because cognitive. Plus, you go up to the counter, they give you free popcorn shrimp.
It's like they're holding up a funhouse mirror to politics, and boy, is it working. Trump's not taking it lying down, though. His Twitter fingers have been working overtime, firing off angry tweets faster than you can say "kofef."
But cut out the part where he makes fun of me at the Oscars. Then he mashes out the message with his thumb nubs and hits.
It's like watching a tennis match, but instead of balls, they're lobbing jokes and insults back and forth. But here's the kicker, all this late night lampoonery isn't just for laughs. Turns out these comedy bits are shaping how we think about politics. It's like Kimmel and Colbert are sneaking veggies into our junk food. We're getting our political fiber and we don't even know it.
States was so upset about my jokes that I made about him, he directed his staffers at the White House to call Disney.
Now, you'd think Trump would have learned by now to ignore these guys, right? Wrong. In a twist that's funnier than any scripted joke, Trump's rage tweeting actually backfired. Get this. In the middle of a rant, he accidentally gave Kimmel and Colbert a compliment.
Focused on treating America as one big couch they can all screw together. It's Wiles headlined the event.
He tweeted, "Kimmel and Colbert are doing a fantastic job. Their ratings are through the roof. I love watching them every night." Talk about a plot twist. It's like Trump brought a spoon to a battle of wits and ended up accidentally serving himself as the main course. But hang on to your funny bones, folks, because Kimmel and Colbert weren't done roasting the Donald just yet. In fact, they were about to turn up the heat even more. Remember when late night TV was all about silly skits and celebrity interviews? Well, Kimmel and Colbert are about to show us what happens when comedy gets a political edge sharper than Trump's tweets. And trust me, you won't believe who shows up to join the roast. The buzz was building faster than Trump's wall plans. Kimmel and Colbert, the dynamic duo of late night, were teaming up for a Trump roast-off that had everyone talking. It was like the Super Bowl of comedy, but with more orange jokes and less deflated balls.
To Mar-a-Lago is a little bit like going to North Korea and admits that Joe Biden won the election fair and square, but says Trump, quote, doesn't like to hear us, too. The fact of the matter is this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person. And that's a bad combination.
As the big night approached, people were wondering, would the comedians go too far? Would Trump tweet himself into a frenzy? It was like watching a tightrope walker juggle chainsaws. Exciting, but you know someone's gonna get hurt.
There's probably no late night host who gets under Donald Trump's skin more than Jimmy Kimmel. In part 2 of my sit-down interview with the comedian, he talked about that.
In fact, it says that on election night, Melania was in tears and not of joy. First ladies, They're just like us.
When the roast kicked off, it was clear these guys weren't pulling any punches. Kimmel came out swinging with, "Trump's idea of foreign policy is asking for extra ketchup at McDonald's." Ouch! Not to be outdone, Colbert fired back with, "Trump's ego is so big it has its own gravitational pull. That's why his hair always looks like it's trying to escape. Grumpy Trumpy must have been reaching for his phone with those tiny hands of his." Now, late night hosts teaming up isn't exactly new. Back in the day, Johnny Carson and David Letterman used to cross enemy lines to appear on each other's shows. But this was different. This was like watching two expert chefs cook up a feast of Trump roasting goodness.
What we're forgetting, I keep forgetting it, and I have to keep reminding myself, is he's not just running for president. He's running to stay out of prison. Federal equal time rule to declare that anti-Trump material broadcast by Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and others was somehow illegal.
Just when we thought it couldn't get any better, Kimmel and Colbert dropped a bombshell. They had a surprise guest, and boy, was it a doozy. None other than Barack Obama himself strolled onto that stage. Cool as a cucumber, and he didn't disappoint. Obama looked straight into the camera and said, "I hear Donald's starting his own late night show. I guess he finally found a job he's qualified for, staying up all night tweeting." The audience went wild, and somewhere in Mar-a-Lago, you just know Donnie Diapers was having a meltdown. The aftermath? It was like a comedy nuke had gone off. Social media exploded with clips from the show. News outlets were debating whether the comedians had gone too far or not far enough. And Trump, well, let's just say his Twitter feed was about to get a whole lot more interesting.
I love the cognitive test. I always find the whale. He's usually just to the left of the scary shark you have to go around.
Kimmel's a loser. Look, we would do Jimmy Kimmel. I'd do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot.
So folks, it turns out laughter might just be our secret weapon against all this political madness. Who knew? While the big shots are arguing, we're all chuckling at Kimmel and Colbert's latest Trump roasts.
I think that it would be so un-American if he were to come after people who are speaking out against him. Trump plans to issue a number of executive orders on day one. He wants 4 Big Macs, 6 large fries, 2 buckets of KFC.
And get this, about 60% of young people are getting their news from these comedy shows now. Talk about mixing giggles with government. But here's the real kicker. This isn't just about having a good laugh. Dr. Jennifer McCoy, a political scientist, says humor can actually make politics easier for us regular folks to understand. It's like comedy is the sugar that helps the political medicine go down.
It's nice to relax and spend time with the people I love. And also the president. Hey!
So next time you're feeling frustrated with the state of things, why not try cracking a joke instead of cracking your screen? Who knows, you might just start a revolution, one punchline at a time. After all, in this battle of wits with late night hosts, Trump brought a spoon to a knife fight, and that's no joke.